This conference will now be recorded.
Hello, can you see the screen?
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay, and what about Venkat? So can you see and hear me? Okay, okay, right. So, right. Yesterday, I mean, the last class, we were discussing about the deployment of VM in using Ansible. So I created an Ansible playbook that contained two plays. So one is the deploying virtual machine in AWS. So the first play, okay, the playbook is nothing but the list of play. So first play, so you can write in the same order, like so this is the first play, and next you can see after that next hyphen will come. So this is the next play. So the first play, what I was doing is that has contained the variable section and some like so on which host I need to do this. So this is doing on the local host because the deployment I do it in on locally so that it will take that remote. I mean it will deploy the machine in AWS, and we need to pass this AWS keys and the task. What are the tasks I need to do? So one is the deploying a VM. So for deploying, you need to pass, we have a module called EC2. So with that, you can pass some parameters like AWS keys, which is a SSH key, and which is a security group, which subnet you are using, and instance type, image, etc., and location and all. Also, we can set the tag, and we are using a function called option called register. So this deployment, whatever the result it produce will be registered to a variable called master C2, so that we can use this. So this is a big JSON file. So we would be able to use this JSON to pass some values. Basically, we need to get the private IP address of this host. So that is what I'm doing here, like getting that private IP address. Again, so master c2 dot instances, this will give, I mean, if I use the multiple servers deploying, then I will have this. This is something like an array. So with item is kind of array option that we can use in Ansible. So here what I'm using is add host is an option that we can add this host IP to a group called master. So next time, whatever the configuration we want to make, that we can do on this master group. And so we need to wait until these SSH services are up and running. And once this is SSH is done, we can do this thing on this master, whatever the host which is available in the master. So on the master host, I'm doing these steps. So basically, what I'm doing is like, so this is another playbook, because each playbook will be executing on the host or host group. The first one is executing local host, because for our remote machine is not yet deployed. And what we are doing in the first playbook is just to go ahead and deploy that, collect the private IP address and create a group, so that with the name master. And then we will wait until SSH is up and running. Second is, like, we created a group called master, right? So we apply whatever the upcoming, I mean, the following operation to this host group master. So the tasks are nothing like NTP installation, then starting NTPD service, SC Linux disabling, then VM swappiness, and setting up of Ambari repository, then installing Ambari server and installing Ambari agent. Then what next? Once this is installed, okay, I have another playbook also, so that, okay, or else I can just write this as a separate task here. So I need to use Ambari server setup with the silent mode. Then I need to start this Ambari server and agent. So this one I can write as a same playbook or a separate playbook. But only problem here I faced is, so I just thought of waiting until this 8080 is up and running and wait. But I was not able to get this private IP of this one, because so this master C2 is defined in the, or this variable is defined in the another play. So I don't know how to get that. Maybe we will search and do that. And this was failing. So this is the IP address of this master master EC2. So master EC2 instance IP address I am getting from the first play. In the first play, I'm just doing or registering that master EC2 variable. Okay, so we will just see how to. Okay. So I would like to variable registration one machine. Okay, so here so you want to modify the variable reference in your okay. So it's so you know what is the problem we have. Okay, so basically we need to have this private IP address of the host we deployed. So we know the register is a option that we are registering the output of this command or module to this variable. But the problem is, okay, so you can get the private IP address from that using this master c2 dot instances dot private IP address. But that will not work on the another module. The reason is that is defined on another one. So what they are suggesting is, so this option won't work because the master C2 option won't work here. So instead of that, they're asking to use this way. So host vars of localhost of that variable. Then try this. Let's just try this. So instead of apt-get, so we just need to use this name. Okay, basically the variable we are defined in, I mean the variable this one master C2 defined it for the local host host group, and so for to access that, so we just need to use this option. There it's as per this document, and okay, we will just try that option. The host vars, then whatever the host group, then whatever the variable name. So that is what like so this is the local host here. Then what is the variable name? So let's just try this and see. Okay, so what we are just expecting here is, so first to deploy this VM, then install then wait for until SSH is up and running, then do some wait until SSH is up and running, then do all this installation thing, then finally configure Ambari server, then start Ambari server and wait until 8080 is up and running. So we will go ahead and save this. And another thing we just need is like so we may need somewhat higher instance. So we just use a T2x large or something. Okay, so T2x large, somewhat higher instance. So is this flow is clear to you, or you need some explanation?
I think it would be good that if you reiterate it like from the top. So because I was fine, but I think at one point I got confused with the different variables.
Okay, right. I'll tell you. Okay, so basically the playbook. First, understand the playbook is having a list of play. Okay, so we can have a, different plays. So this is the play one, play two, play three, like that. And each play we just write as a array. Like we use hyphen before that. So this hyphen represents here. Okay, if you go to the top, so this hyphen, and that means this is entire thing is a play. Entire thing in the sense until another hyphen comes here. Yeah, right. So this is another play. And each play will have some variables and task and some header part. So header part is nothing but the name of that play and where this need to be executed. So for our first thing, what we need is like so these are the variables defined. So or else we can hard code these values here. You can skip this variable part also. And the first play is having a multiple tasks like deploying VM. So for deploying VM, we use the module called EC2, and whatever the properties that we define here, and a register in the sense, so it will create a variable called master C2, so that will store the output of this commands or this module. So that module is just doing the deployment. So we will have the complete details stored in this variable, like it's the complete VM details, including its private IP and other details. So the next is like, once you deploy the VM, so without knowing it's okay, for just deploying, this is fine, even no need to register, right? But the only thing is once it's registered, so we may need to do some post execution task. So that for that, what we are doing is just use this variable and get the IP address. So there is a module called add host. So that will take this variable and IP address one by one and create a group called master. Okay, so this is dynamic in nature. Like we are just similar to the one we are updating inventory file, but it's not physically update the inventory file. Instead, it will create a host group called master. So master will have the IP address of the host that we deploy here. So next is another function called wait for. So wait for is a module, so not function, module, which helps to monitor and check if some of the services, like basically it checks some port, and if that port is available with some service, then this will complete this uh, task. So basically we need to make sure like 22 port is open. So the reason is like if 22 port is not open, there is no point of doing the next place or next task. So we have to wait until SSH is up and running. So SSH is the one which is running on this port. So again we use this instances, and this is the variable that we got when we deploy the VM, and we will just use this function and get the IP address. So that's it. So until SSH is running, so this will wait here. So next, I created another play. Okay. So the reason I have modified this into different play is, so this thing I need to execute on the master, not on the local host. Once this is deployed, I have a host group called master. So that I created here. So on that master, I'm just doing all these tasks like NTP installation. So I use the yum utility or yum module, service module to service that start, and SC Linux module to disable SC Linux, sysctl module to change that etc sysctl conf. Then yum repository is an option, and what I use is like so basically change or updating a new yum repo file. So the file name and description and base URL, everything you can add. The next, Okay, m repository is a module. Another module I am just doing, or this is another task where I am calling the module m, and state install means it will do m install this Ambari server. Similarly, Ambari agent also I need. So that's it for display. And the next play, what I am doing here is configuring this Ambari server and agent and starting. So that is also I need to run on this master and remote user CentOS, because I'm using CentOS to connect, we know, and sudo yes means basically I need super user privileges to do all these things. And this is having the task like one is a command. So command means this command will be executed on all the hosts which are available under host group master. So in our case, we have only one host, that is a EC2 new EC2 instance deployed. So it will execute that. Similarly, Ambari server, I need to start. Then Ambari agent, I need to start. Then I need to wait until that machine, like so this variable, okay, earlier I just tried to use a variable. The problem is I was not able to get, so I use the host vars. Then for the local host, what are the host vars defined, and this is the variable, and I'm just taking that private IP. I don't know whether this will work, and I will wait until 8080 port is open. 8080 port is a port where Ambari server is running. Then go ahead and save this and use Ansible -playbook -i host, then this aws create.yaml file. Here you can see the first play and what are the tasks under that. So deploy VM, then adding a newly created host, then wait until SSH is up and running. So this will wait until SSH service is up and running. So if you go here, you can see one with the T2 large is T2X large is started running, and maybe since it's initializing phase, that is why the reason it's taking some time to.
So if on this playbook, have we defined that how many masters we are gonna create? So take example, if you want to define 3, right?
Yeah, right. This time I'm just deploying only single machine. Okay,
Yeah, but
so
yeah,
we need to modify that, like so this deployment part, right?
yeah.
So in this
But
deployment part, we need to duplicate that. Maybe we need to create. I'll show you that 1 second. What we need to do is just here. This is the one, right? So here, what we need is okay. I created one host group, right?
yeah,
And
easy.
here the number count.
Yeah,
Similarly, I may need to call another EC2 module with the number. How many number? If it's for worker, then I just write here as a 3 or 4, whatever it may be, and the name I just write worker or something. Then I register that into another name like a worker, worker EC2 something. Then also I need to create another group called, instead of master group, I need to create another group, because we are not doing the same set of tasks on worker and master, because Ambari server we need not to do on the worker, right? So only
mm,
agent we need. So
yeah.
for that group, we will do another task, but the prerequisites maybe we need to do on all the host
And
or all the host group.
so
But
in
this one, yeah.
in hosts, I'm just thinking here. In host, you can write master, comma, worker, comma, master, 2 type, something like that. Can you?
That I need to check, because
Just
host group,
thinking here.
yeah, yeah. Well, just let me check. I have not tried. Maybe it works. Ansible playbook. Host.
Host group, multiple host choices.
Host. Yeah, I think a comma will support. No. Oh, okay. I think this person is saying not comma, colon. Yeah, colon. Most of the people are using. We just need to check like a comma or colon. Running a playbook on multiple host group at one time. We'll have to check that.
No, that's fine.
Okay, I think this is still. Oh, mm, okay, so this is still having issue. This is saying the private IP. One 37. Now, if I come here and see, this is deployed, but the last part is still having some issue. But if, after some time, if I just use 8080 here, so it should. Okay, let's just connect and see. New session. Oh, oh no, 217. I think this is the Ansible one, so we should choose the master one. This one, and you can see Ambari is running here. Use admin. Okay, so the page is showing well. What we need to do, uh, okay, so these three files. Okay, my intention was to do everything in an automated way, but only thing is that last phase I'm facing some challenges. The only thing is I'm not able to do that this 8080 until this is in weighted state. Maybe we'll need to do some workaround. Okay, so we will just quickly deploy that cluster. Anyway, we have this option like the key I have and this JSON file and install.sh. So this file I'm just transferring to that host. So scp-r star.json install.sh. Then so what is the host name of that machine? So this is 137. So we can use that private IP address to copy that. Then colon /home / CentOS or whatever it may be. Okay, I need to use that key file -i HDP. Right now, if I come back here, okay, so I need to take that IP address and connect. Then use auth, whatever the key. Then what I do, so chmod +x HTTP install.sh. So just see that host mapping and cluster configuration. So cluster configuration, there was, okay, the three, this is fine. And host mapping, I'm not sure. Yeah, this host I need to replace with my host. And I'm writing that name here for the host mapping. So this also we should be able to automate, like from that Ansible host, there should be some dynamic mechanism to update this host file, and the other thing is fine. Then we should execute this from the master where we installed Ambari. We will just try this. Okay. The specified blueprint doesn't exist.
Oh, I think we need to copy.
Cluster configuration. Okay, HTTP, this is the name, single node HTTP cluster. Okay, we just check the cluster configuration. HTTP cluster, that is fine. Right. Oh, 808, that is a problem. So maybe my script is having some issue.
Yeah, first line.
Yeah, vi All right, so this step I missed this 8080. Then let me just try HTTP install. Right, so this is fine and this is accepting and working fine. So I just need to change that file here also. So now you can, if I go back here, you can see the cluster might be running, right? So the deployment is in progress.
Yes, yeah.
But only thing, some challenge we have is like we need to monitor that host, and basically so we need to wait until this IP this is up and running. So that is the one thing. But this one we are not able to. So host vars master EC2. Another option is like so use this option, okay, and we may need to do some sort of trial and error to find this option. Here, okay, so on the local host registering this to foo, and here is fine. Yeah, another host. So this is the actual case we have. So local host and task, and we are registering that to foo here, but I'm trying to access that.
Let's search what is this app get SHA1 means.
Local host apt-get, I think that is the oh apt-get I thought it's a variable name. Okay, now it tells you want to modify the variable reference. Okay, we'll see this one. Dummy host. Okay, so here this one is doing on register this one name register. Host was localhost. Okay, but localhost. Okay, host vars, then token. So here, mm, so add host. But host vars playbook. Okay, what we will do? So we will just try to write this variable into a file so that we will come to know how this works.
Okay.
I think I'm just copying that host file to here and AWS underscore create .yaml. And this one T2 I think T2 small we can take, because if we deploy the large sized EC2 instance, so the charge also will be definitely high. Then so let all these things go as it is. So instead of wait for, I'm just creating another task. Something, write it to a file. So we use this module copy. Then copy, then content we write as this variable, and instead of that, okay, so this one, instead of equal to, I just need to use colon. Then write the host vars, this one. And this one I'm going to delete. Okay, so basically what I used is I just added another task. So where this content I'm just trying to write it into this file. So on this new host, we are expecting this file and having some contents like this. We will just try to deploy this one. So just check.
Basically, it will write the private IP of that system in that.
Yeah, right. I mean, the master EC2 will be a very big JSON file, not only the private IP. I think it's having a lot of other values also.
Hmm.
To to get the private IP address, I think we need to use some transformation like dot or with content or something. Take one of its content and choose that. So I
The-
think we will just try this option. The
yeah.
main thing is we are not able to get this content. If you are getting some content, then next thing is we need to find out how to extract that private IP address. Okay.
Hmm. Okay.
So basically, this is the variable master EC2. So that we registered there and we have created that variable. From that variable, how to extract this private IP, that we need to check. So use Ansible playbook -I host, then AWS create. We'll see this.
So this is going to create a new set of.
Another new EC2 instance. Okay, if
Yeah.
I just see here, maybe with the same name, but this one I have not changed this one, but the size is T2 small sort of itself. Mm. Oh, the problem is I didn't add this key and all. Okay, so there was another file called Ansible CFG and this key file. So these two file I need to copy over there. Okay, I missed to copy this Ansible CFG to this R&D directory, and this HDP admin that is also not copied. Okay, so that is the reason I can immediately terminate and try this one, because the post deployment task it may failed. Okay, so let me just retry it again. So this is waiting. Okay, that is fine. And installing NTP. It's fine. Disabling a CDNX, Ambari updating repo, then Ambari installation. That is also fine. So only thing we just need to check is connect this newly deployed VM. Okay, T2 small, and use the public IP address. Connect it, and you can check whether that file is getting created. Maybe at the last stage we are doing that file creation. If something content is there, then we can just see how to fetch that. And I think Ambari server setup is still doing. Okay, then it's trying to start the service, and the next we just gather that data. Okay, I think all the task has completed. So now we go to /tmp and see whether that
I can see that.
file is having some contents. Yes, I think public IP address. Yes, private DNS. Yes, value is here. So we so the problem may be we have to uh, get one of the entries. Maybe this is an array. So we will just need to check how to extract these one values.
What
So
we are looking for? Sorry,
we just need that private
I would
IP
add.
address, yeah. So what we will do here, maybe we will do the similar for loop that we used earlier, right? I think that this one. Okay, so like this one, we just use with items. Okay, so that here instead of this one, we just use that value. Okay, so we'll just take this out and add it here, and this one 8080, and here master to EC2 instance. Instead of this one, we just need to just use this value and see. Okay, so I hope this one we just use the private. Okay, so we will just try with this option and see whether this is working. So we will just go back to Ansible test AWS underscore create.yaml, then copy this entire thing. I think this is okay. Okay, so the host was must receive to dot instances and taking one by one. Maybe it's an array. That is the reason we are just directly add dot private IP was not showing. So I hope this may work. So we will see that. And the other deployed instances we can just delete. Okay, so this master and this master we don't need. So I'm just deleting. Then we will just try. Ansible playbook -i host AWS create. We'll see whether this is working or not. Okay, I think yeah, this time we are good. Okay, so we were able to uh, do this, and I think looks good. So this is working similar to this one. So 42, this host is doing. Okay, so this time no error. So we were able to deploy it and monitor until this service is up and running. So next we will add this option also. So that is something like so how do we use these two files? I mean copy to the remote machine, and the next thing is like in the host mapping file. Host map host mapping file. This file need to be replaced with the IP address or host name of that master. So that is the only one thing we need to do. And apart from this, these two files like uh, so install .sh host mapping and the cluster config we need to copy, and then we can execute that script. Okay.
Yeah.
So we will just try to do. There is something called template. I don't remember. J2. Okay, so to replacing variable and copying, there is something called template. So yeah, the one plus point is like so we can use the variable inside the template. Okay, so the template is the one you can define. and so that it will copy this one to the remote host. So what I said is like we just need to copy these two files, like uh, these two files, cluster configuration and hdp install.sh. So these two file, nothing to do, just to copy to that remote machine, but this file may change based on the host name. So whatever the deployed VM, we will just remove. Oops. The master, then go to the action, then terminate. Okay, so we will just add this aws create.yaml, then we use that option like copy host template. Then what we just use, so we use that as a template and write the host name, I mean the source as what is the template name, like src and dest we need to use. So src is the source. I can write like the host mapping dot j2. So we use this one into j2 format, like so that is the standard way we use. So and the source is this one, and dest is, it's similar to the copy, but only thing is if you use the template, so you can replace the variable when we do a copy. So
in this time we are not going to use but we will be still using the blueprint, isn't it, Sujesh?
yeah, we will be using the blueprint, but there is a file called
But blueprint it will be still pointing to JSON file. But because you renamed it, then do you need to create a copy of it?
no, this file basically I need to copy this file to be copied into my remote machine, some directory with this name. So only my requirement is like use this one. So that a template file, host mapping, right? So host mapping file. So where is that file? Yeah.
Now,
So I think I just renamed to J2, right?
yeah.
See this name I need to replace with that whatever the IP address or host name of the remote machine.
Yeah, I see.
So
Because that will be dynamically generated, isn't it?
correct.
Yeah.
So otherwise, if you hard code with the local host, I don't know whether it will work. Then in that case, that is not needed. Just a simple copy will do. but here we just need to do that. Okay, so with the host name changed, but again I'm not sure, like so how to get the first element of this one. So this is the loop, and we are just looping through that and getting that. So basically this thing we need to add in that j2 file. uh, in okay, but instances of 0. Oh, okay, so this is the way you can use array. Okay, so what I'm just using is, so I know this will get the value, like host var localhost master EC2 instances, and from this array I need to extract this value. So I'm a bit confused here. Okay, so what we need to do here is, like just take that sample template, this one, and write it into a notepad file, and so we just need this one. This is a list, and from this take one, and I'm just using, for instead of mount, for item in this array, and item dot private IP. Public IP public IP, private IP. Okay, I can just use the private DNS name. Okay, so this one I am taking and adding here. Yeah, private DNS. So I'm going to write this one into my J2 file. So okay, let's just try, and I'll explain to you that. And here inside this one, I'm just writing that, copy this entire thing. Okay, so basically I'm just taking this variable and from that taking this value. Say for the reason is this is an array, so from that I need to take the one element, and from that element I need to do this thing. Let's try this and see whether this is working or not. And just aws underscore create dot yaml. Yeah, so this is the one. I'm just trying to do this slash tmp host mapping, and I'm just expecting. So this is the file, template file, and see whether this is working or not. Ansible playbook -i host. Let me just take 5 minutes break by that time, so this will be up and running. We'll see. Okay, so that is also failed. So I don't know, maybe I need to sort it out later. So now what we will do, we will manually go and deploy this new cluster, and so then .json, and what is our new host IP address, :/tmp. Okay, so we will just connect to that host. So this host name I need to just use to this file. It's, I didn't copy that. Oh, it's in a J2 file. This is the host name, and what we need is like okay. So this will do the installation on that host. So I'll try to do the automation. Like I think this time. So this is failing, and this is the host. I can just see its status from here. 8080. It will take some time. By that time, let's see some other topic like a snapshot. Okay. One second. Okay, can you see? You can. I hope you can see the screen properly, right? So the snapshot is something like the point in time recovery option. So you can use this snapshot for backup, or if anything got corrupted, so you can recover this file from this snapshot. So so if you have a directory, say for example /user/abc. So if you enable, the first step is you need to enable the snapshot on that HDFS directory, then take the snapshot. Also, you can schedule this periodically so that it will take the snapshot. So after that snapshot has taken, so you made some changes and you want to recover or go back to that stage, so you can do that. So it's like similar to we do like hourly backup or something like that. If anything happened, so you can recover from the this one. So And some of the features like, so what are the directories it support? Say for example, if I have /user, and under /user we have a directory ABC, under that we have a directory DEF. So only thing is, if you can enable a snapshot for any directories, but only thing is, suppose if you are enabling a snapshot for this, its parent directory should not be snapshot enabled, also its child should not be enabled. So that means the nested snapshot is not supported. Say for example, if you have the directory /abcdef hij, so if you want to enable snapshot for this particular child directory, so this directory should not be snapshot enabled. So another one abcdef and hij, and if you want to enable the snapshot here, so this should not be snapshot enabled, or this should not be snapshot enabled. So I mean, that is something like nested. Okay, if it's already enabled snapshot, there is no point of taking the snapshot. And if this is enabled the snapshot, and again if you are enabling, so this is not needed. So basically the nested snapshot is not supported. And again, you can take multiple snapshots at different times, and the snapshot will give you an easy way to go back to the previous state. Again, the snapshot does not duplicate the data, so it will just use some pointer in the backend. Okay, so it won't duplicate or recreate the data in the backend. There will be some pointer to the actual data. So how do we take the snapshot? And again, how the snapshot will be stored? So for example, if you have a directory /user under ABC, and if you enable the snapshot for this directory, and when you create the snapshot, while default there will be a hidden file called a snapshot, or hidden directory. The snapshot will be available. Inside that, whatever the snapshot directory, the directories which you have taken will be available. So this is the standard form, and inside that the name will be some different format. So this snapshot name can be configurable. So you can use this snapshot name. Otherwise, by default, there will be some standard naming convention used. If you don't use. So and again, so you have the files and directory here, right? So from this snapshot, you can recover. So what is snapshot? Snapshot is nothing like the point in time copies of the file system. So you can take the snapshot of any directories in HDFS, but the nested one is not supported. Its ancestors, or I mean whatever the directories comes inside that, if any snapshot is enabled, so you cannot enable the snapshot of that particular directory. So if you want to enable snapshot for that particular directory, its parent directory should not be snapshot enabled. Also, its child directory should not be snapshot enabled. And again, if you have a snapshot enabled directory and there are some snapshot available, so you won't be able to delete that directory. There is, I mean, you can delete only once you delete whatever the snapshots you have taken. And by default, the snapshot files or snapshot contents will be stored inside a directory called with the name .snapshot. And the name of the snapshot will be controlled by the system unless you specify the particular name. And from the snapshot, you can copy files whenever you need to do a recovery operation. So how do we enable the snapshot? The first step is enable snapshot. So to enable the snapshot, what you need is, so as an HDFS user or super user, you need to execute the command. Okay, so I'm just writing as super user, like HDFS DFS admin, then allow snapshot, whatever the path you want to enable the snapshot. Okay, so this is an HDFS path, and this will allow the snapshot. And again, remember, so this path, if you are enabling, its parent should not be enabled or its child should not be enabled. So if that is the case, definitely this will fail. So the first step as an admin user, so you have to enable the snapshot. And again, if you feel like you want to disallow, I mean disable the snapshot, you can use hdfs dfs admin. Then instead of allow snapshot, just use disallow snapshot. Then whatever the directories. So this is an HDFS directory. So you can enable or disable the snapshot using these two commands: HDFS DFS admin enable snapshot, HDFS DFS admin disallow snapshots. And once you enable the snapshot, second is like you can create the snapshot. So for creating the snapshot, what you need is, so this is like a super user. This can be done with the owner, who is the owner of that particular directory. You can use hdfs dfs and then -create snapshot, whatever the path. So this path should be snapshot enabled. Then the name of the snapshot, and this I can say this is an optional parameter. So this is not a mandatory one. So hdfs dfs create snapshot, whatever the directory, then the snapshot name. And if you want to, okay, this will create the snapshot. Okay, so this is the path. Under this there will be a directory called a snapshot, and inside that it will create the snapshot. If you specify the name, it will use this name for the snapshot. Otherwise, by default, you can skip this one also. In that case, it will create the default one with the alphanumeric. Then you can just delete the snapshot, hdfs dfs, then delete snapshot, and you have to choose the path, which directory, and then you have to use the name of the snapshot. Okay, the snapshot name, and again the directory name. Also, the renaming of snapshot is also available with the option like rename snapshot. Then what is the path you want, then old snapshot name and new snapshot name. Okay, so these are some of the commands. And also, if you want to list what are the snapshot enabled directory, so in that case you can just use hdfs ls snapshotable dir. So this will list all the snapshot enabled directories into a directory. So the snapshot basically the point in time copy of the file system, so which can be taken for any directory into HDFS. So only thing is its parents or children directories should not be snapshot enabled. So in that case it will fail. Also, if you have taken the snapshot for a directory and if you are trying to rename that directory or trying to delete that directory, that will fail because this will not work. So you have to delete all the snapshots created before deleting that directory. Again, for taking the snapshot, the first step as an administrator, so you need to enable the snapshot. So you can use hdfs dfs admin allow snapshot and disallow snapshot for enabling and disabling. Then you can create the snapshot using this create option, delete snapshot, rename snapshot, and hdfs ls snapshotable directory list all the snapshotable directories. I think almost starting. Timeline and node manager. I think we should be able to connect the server. Okay, let me increase the font size. Then colors, just use the system color. So HDFS, DFS, and LS. Okay, so I'm just going to create a okay. So let's just see. If anything inside this apps logs directory, anything is there, then okay. So what I'm going to do is just switch to HDFS user. Then use HDFS DFS mkdir /user CentOS. Then inside CentOS, I'm just creating the directory ABC and def, and I can just and just use echo file1 contents to file1.txt. Okay. So what I'm going to do is HDFS DFS hyphen put to file1.txt to file2.txt to this sorry, ABC. Let me just do it into df. Okay, then changing the ownership to CentOS for this particular directory, and I can just use -r flag to do it in a recursive way. So let me come back here. So use HDFS. What I want to do is I just want to enable enable snapshot for this directory. What I can do is HDFS. So DFS admin. So this is an admin command. So definitely you can just use HDFS DFS admin. Then you can see that somewhere here like yellow snapshotable. Somewhere you can see this option. Yeah, yellow snapshot. Okay, so DFS admin yellow snapshot /user. So this may fail because this require a super user access. So since I tried from the CentOS, that is the reason it's failed. So this command I need to do from the switch to root user and try that. So instead of root user, here a super user is HDFS. Just try that. Okay, so this enable the snapshot. Like I said, okay, it's a parent or children. If one is enabled, so we cannot enable for ABC. The reason is the CentOS is already ancestor is already enabled. So if I just use for enable for slash user, that is also fail because subdirectory also snapshot enable. So if the snapshot is enabled, its parent or children cannot enable snapshot. So in that case, you have to disallow snapshot and use that. So disallow is for disabling snapshot. So let's go back to that user and create the snapshot. So what you can here you have option HDFS list snapshotable is our option. So ls snapshotable ls. So this will list what are the directory which is snapshot enabled for this user. So this is this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a snapshot. Okay. So what I can do is HDFS DFS create snapshot whatever the path, right? So like I said, you can leave as default. The second option is the snapshot name. So you can use or leave it based on the choice. So this is going to create a snapshot. You can see the snapshot is under this user and there is a directory called .snapshot and this is the snapshot name. So if you list that snapshot, so HDFS DFS-ls, okay. So under the snapshot, you can see the same directories which are available on this snapshot enabled directory, right? So HDFS DFS-ls, if you see under CentOS, what are the directories? So those directories are available. And again under ABC, what are the files available? So that will be available here, right? But what happened if I remove this directory? So we'll see HDFS DFS -rm -r, that is removed, but still we have this ABC directory available here. So if you just check under snapshot, we will have that copy. So file 1 and file 2. So that you can copy this file back to that location whenever you need. So you can just use this HDFS DFS -cp. And if you want to use that preserve timestamp permission and all those things, you can use this option like -p preserve time, then ownership, then permission, then ACL and all other thing, and what is the directory and the destination location where you want to use. I mean under slash user, this one. Okay, so I can copy from the snapshot. You can see CentOS does not belongs to HDFS. HDFS DFS-cp p2pack/user. We'll see. Maybe that is warning. Yeah, right, warning only. So under this one, what are the directories or files available? Yes, we were able to copy. So one way we just created the snapshot by default option. So you can write your snapshot name, HDFS DFS create snapshot. Then slash user slash ABC. My snapshot. Oh, user, not ABC. This is not the directory. User CentOS, my snapshot enabled directory. So here you can see instead of that name, I just gave my own name, like so whatever the my own custom snapshot one. So again, if you want to delete the snapshot, you can just use HDFS, DFS, delete snapshot, then whatever the path and whatever the snapshot name. So that will delete, oops, delete HDFS, DFS hyphen, oh, missed typo, delete snapshot. So this will delete the snapshot from this one. If you just use HDFS, DFS hyphen ls, this one slash dot snapshot, you cannot see this. My snapshot is not there. And again, this one also, if you want to delete, you can take that snapshot name and instead of CentOS, use that name here, right? So now we don't have any snapshot available. So all the snapshots are removed. So the snapshot normally we do schedule along and whenever periodically, and whenever we need a point in time recovery or just additional recovery, like the user is saying, like I made these changes, I need to roll back to the state where it was 1 hour back. So those things we can do with the snapshot. So snapshot is simple, the point in time copy. So again, it doesn't use extra space. It's just like in the backend, it's pointing to the block to that whatever the previous state. Okay. So even though we delete the data, so the actual blocks won't get deleted from the backend immediately. Okay. So it will stay there for quite long time. So whenever the next data is coming, then that time only it is getting overwritten. So it's like a normal file system also, or we have the snapshot the similar way. So you can create the snapshot. The first thing is with the super user, you have to allow snapshot, that allow option and disallow option. Then we have to create the snapshot as an owner. So again, the snapshot doesn't hierarchical option is not supported. So you have to take care of that. Okay. So that's it about the snapshot. So you can try this like creating, deleting, then recovering, all those things. It's quite easy. I think 4 or 5 commands you need to get familiar with. Okay. Any questions here?
So Sujesh, what happens that if there are bigger files, take example that we generally in production environment you get larger files. So
Yeah.
what do you suggest in the, because take example if file is being copied, and sometime half of the file is being copied, and if you take a snapshot, what type of snapshot do you get?
Uh, snapshot. Okay. Okay. At that
Because
time,
snapshot is
how this
used from the
file
backup
system
purposes,
looks.
isn't it?
Yeah. I mean during that time, how the file system looks like. So if you have a partially written file during the snapshot generation, so it will have that uh, I mean option only. So that is the reason that people are taking the snapshot periodically. So for example, I know I'm copying the file from like 12:30 to 1 o'clock, and I need if I'm taking the backup of this one. So if I go intermediate snapshot, there is no point. Like it will have partial data only. It's like we are just taking the photograph, like a video. From the
No,
video, we are just taking the photograph at each point. So that only we will get. So
that
for
I'm
example, yeah, I have completely copied one file at 1 o'clock because the user or whoever is the owner of that one has to decide which backup you need or which backup, which snapshot you need to recover. So for example, at 12 o'clock, I have copied one file. So but after that, I have made some changes now 12:30, right? So I realized that okay, so I did some mistake. So I want to go back to the state which was at 12 o'clock. So in that case, I can get the snapshot which is generated at 12 o'clock. Or else the people also can manually do that. Okay, I am doing something. Okay, some file I am just doing some modification or something. So that is also we can do.
Because okay, I'm thinking that what all is needed to backup environment is that only create snapshots, so that will back up whatever written in SDFS, and then you need to
No, actually, it's we cannot say it's a full backup solution. It's like a point in time recovery. Like that if you want to go back to the state where it was earlier. So if actual data block lose, so you won't have this snapshot also. Say for example, I'll show you that in.
I understand if you lose SDFS, that means you lost everything because that is sitting
Uh,
inside the
okay,
SDFS.
say for example, this is just a logical representation. So this is my block, okay, and now this is the state. I have this one, and what I'm just doing is in my this is my snapshot. So my snapshot is pointing till here. This is just a pictorial representation, but not the actual one. So I made some changes to this. Okay, there are something else also came here. So now it's pointing here, right? So if I want to go back, so this is just a pointer to the data. So if my entire data goes down, so both this one and this one won't work. And for actual backup, you need some other solutions like a DCP or downloading the files to some other location and all. So it's all relying on the actual data in the backend, but we can just go back to the previous state of this data if you have the snapshot. So in actual case, we use the snapshot along with some other DSTP based solution also.
Yeah, for DR, that's what people use, just CP
Yeah,
for DR
correct.
sort of thing. But that in that, have you used that this CP or DR type of solution?
DCP, yes. DCP mainly in Cloudera there is a from the GUI itself there is an option. DCP, the basic thing I tried like for cluster to cluster copy. Also with the DCP you can copy to AWS location also. AWS S3 storage and blob storage. So these option also supported. And
But
Cloudera is having that option. Like there is an option you can configure a remote cluster, and you can schedule that so that
yeah, because I'm
every
thinking this CP will work with from cluster to cluster. It won't work,
correct.
isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
cluster to cluster. Also from in within the cluster one location to another. That is also possible. Because since it's use a map reduce, so
Yeah.
the performance is much better.
Better. Yeah. Okay. But and then the backup for a metadata backup that needs to be taken as well, isn't it?
Correct, correct. Metadata, again, what we need to use for this name node. So this some FS image and edit. So that replicate into multiple locations. Say for example, you can add one more NFS location also, or some other directory also. So that in if
Anyway,
that goes, still
I'm
we have
just
the data
thinking,
available.
if we do this CP, then if we are doing it to remote cluster, then it's not needed anyway because that is a different cluster. So that different cluster for name node etc. So you don't need
Correct.
that. Do you?
Yeah, so, yeah, where you have a DR is in place, you know, not to worry. Like anyway, we have a high availability for name node and all. Plus DR also will be there, so we can copy data from your primary to that DR location. That is also possible.
For backup recovery, I think that will be the FS image and edit log thing. So that multiplexing of those things, that backup recovery will take care of that one.
Correct.
And so that will be, I think, one bunch for backup recovery, which is like snapshotting it and doing the local backups for your metadata and fs image and edit log. So that will be part of, I think, backup recovery, isn't it?
Yeah, all together. We cannot
Mm.
rely on a single
No.
thing alone. So
Yeah.
we people use all together.
Okay. All right. No worries. So
Okay.
where exactly we are, I think now, what are all the topics we need to cover? I think this is what we should be talking. So next class, I think we need to look at what else,
I think we will mainly focus on the security, right?
yeah, because I
Because
think,
this thing, I will do some work on this deployment and automated event. So that we can quickly go through that. So this ACL thing and MIT Kerberos and Ranger. So these things we will cover, right?
yeah,
And
okay. And
upgrade also there.
I think if I remember correctly, I said that I want to do encryption, and that's quite important for me.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. AMS.
yeah. All right. Okay.
Noted.
And can you
Yeah.
send these files to me because I want to practice today because I have not had practice in the last 3-4 weeks at all.
Oh, okay. So this, uh, I mean the Ansible file you're
Yeah.
talking.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, all right. Yeah,
All
I'll
right.
send you that.
Thank you.
Okay. So we will wind up for now. And next Saturday, I will not be available. I'm traveling to hometown.
Okay.
So morning, I will anyway. I'm just traveling. So if people are available at the evening time, so we will just see.
Yeah. Let me know evening if I when to just
If
drop a
people
message.
are, yeah, people are available, then we can do that.
Yeah.
So otherwise, Sunday we will do.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.